Hello, welcome back to my channel. So let's talk about Brittany and Ray. So she's got this man dressed up like a R&B singer in a turtleneck, and they go over to visit Ray's family. And I gotta say, I think I have some good faith that they'll actually work out, because Brittany and Ray both come from a strong foundation and they both have good family values and are close with their families. So Ray sits down with his family and he cuts right to the chase and announces that he has a job. And of course, Ray's family was ecstatic. They're super proud of him for getting a job so fast. And Ray says he got a warehouse job. He said the pay's good. He'll make $15 an hour. He'll be working 6 days a week. And he's excited because he says he feels like he can finally get his life started with Brittany. The only rough part about those warehouse jobs is a lot of them don't be having air conditioning, and that's rough. But hey, Ray should be taking anything at this point to help get that restitution paid off. And Ray says he feels very lucky to be with someone like Brittany, because getting out of prison and being someone who couldn't bring something to the table and being with someone who has everything and still chooses to be with you means a lot to Ray, and he loves how supportive Brittany is. And Ray's family was warning Ray that now that he's getting money, he has to be on a different wavelength and be on his grown man wavelength. And that's the thing. I've seen a lot of people get out of jail and prison, and they do good, but as soon as they get that first paycheck, they're right back at the dope man's house. But I truly believe that Ray will get his money and take care of his business. Then Ray brought up his restitution to his family, his $143,000 restitution, and his family didn't seem surprised because I'm sure they already knew about how much it was. And Ray's aunt tried to downplay it by comparing it to buying a house. So Brittany asked Ray's family for their opinion. She says she wanted to marry Ray like yesterday, but she said, "What am I supposed to do? Take on that restitution?" She wants his baby, but not his restitution. So one member of Ray's family told Brittany, "Hey, you've been supporting him and taking care of him and everything's been good, so yeah, I would say take on that restitution." And Brittany said she didn't want to get her checks garnished because she didn't do anything. So we broke down Ray's restitution in another video and how his restitution is currently set up. He has to make minimum payments of $50 a month. I'm sure that amount will go up if Ray starts making more, but I was curious if Brittany would have to take on that restitution, so I looked it up in the state of Texas. And this is what it says. If your spouse was convicted of a crime, in order to pay criminal restitution prior to your marriage, collection investigators cannot and will not come after an innocent spouse to satisfy their spouse's criminal restitution debt. However, after you say "I do," the debts you or your spouse acquire become marital debts that a judge will divide equitably between the parties in the event of divorce. The good news is that in Texas, equitable does not mean equal. It means fairly. In the case of criminal restitution, a judge is likely to put such debt in the defendant's column. But that does not mean that collectors can't or won't come after an innocent spouse's property if they share ownership of that property with that defendant. So if a home, car, or other property is held jointly between the spouses, collection investigators could seek to foreclose on the perpetrator's interest in the property and create a lot of headaches for the innocent spouse. So Brittany owns her house. I wouldn't put Ray's name on that house anytime soon, and make sure you guys just keep all your names separate on everything. So after Brittany said she didn't want to marry Ray and take on that restitution when she didn't do anything, Ray's family was like, "Come on, you said you loved him, so that shouldn't matter." And Ray's family was telling Brittany, like, "Hey, this is a package deal." And Brittany, she looked all stressed out because she knows Ray's restitution is about to cut into her wedding, baby, and t-shirt making budget. So Brittany says she's not going to take on that restitution for Ray. She feels like Ray did the crime, so he should have to pay the fines. And Brittany's like, "I've been single for the past 5 years. I've been building myself up to get in this good place I'm at now." And Ray's dad said, "You don't risk it, you don't get no biscuit." And Ray's family was like, you know, he may have all this restitution baggage, but he's a good guy and he's worth it at the end of the day. Man, if I was Brittany, I would have told the dad and the family, how about you guys take on Ray's $143,000 restitution since you guys think it's so easy? And then Ray's family asked Brittany, why hasn't Ray met your mom yet? And she said that she's being stubborn. Ray's dad was like, your mom just needs to trust that she raised you right. So Ray tried to explain it to his family. He said, well, Brittany's family's really educated. And Ray's family said, so what? They think you're not educated? And he's like, no. They just don't want anybody who's going to drain her. And Ray's family's like, oh, so they think you're going to drain her? And Brittany said, look, I met him on a prison pen pal website. I started visiting him. I started sending him money. And Ray's family was like, well, he didn't ask you to send him money. You sent him money because you wanted to. And Brittany said, well, yeah, but my family doesn't know that. And they kept saying, well, your family just needs to give him a chance. And Ray's mom thinks Brittany's mom has too high of expectations. And she says, yeah, he may have been to prison, but there's people who haven't been to prison that are worse than people who have been to prison. And I feel like if the roles were reversed and Ray came to his family saying that he wanted to marry a girl who had $143,000 worth of restitution, his family would be like, hell no. And you know they would be urging Ray not to take on that restitution if it was the other way around. And when his aunt tried to compare the $143,000 restitution to buying a house, ma'am, it's not like buying a house because he's not going to have a house to show after he pays $143,000 in restitution. So I don't agree with Ray's family trying to guilt Brittany into taking on his $143,000 restitution. He's working now. Let him pay for his mistakes. So let me know your thoughts about Brittany and Ray in the last episode in the comments below. Do you think Ray's family are in the right for trying to get Brittany to take on his restitution? Or do you think that they're way out of pocket for that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Brittany owns her house. Her name's on the house. And she just needs to keep things that way. I think it would be kind of dumb to add Ray's name onto the house. After we talked about the laws in Texas, she could risk getting a lien on the house if they do get married and Ray doesn't pay his restitution. But that's it for this video. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.